Hello and welcome to Champagny-en-Vanoise here in France for the UIAA Ice Climbing European Championships, brought to you by Outdoor Research. We're here for the lead finals in this standalone event. With all the uncertainty due to COVID, it's a small miracle that this competition has managed to go ahead. But it's got the green light, and we have 16 athletes from across Europe and Russia who are ready to do battle for a coveted place on the podium. My name's Tarquin Cooper and I shall be commentating throughout the lead finals today. So let's have a look at that scoreboard. Aneta Lusheka from Czech Republic, Ekaterina Vlasova, Vivian Labaril from Switzerland, Marion Thomas from France, Eni Bertling from Finland, Irina Dubotseva from Russia, Sina Gertz from Switzerland and Maria Tolokonina from Russia. That's the women. And in the men, we have from France, Nathan Claire, Nikolai Primarov from Switzerland, Tristan Ladevant from France, Virgile Devin, Nikolai Kuzovlev, Ivan Loshenko and Ilya Korochkin, all from Russia, and Luna Ladevant, current world champion, will be last to climb. So wherever you are in the world, a very warm welcome. Get ready for a thrilling showdown of climbing action. So first up is the 20-year-old Aneta Lusheka. So the girls have 8.5 minutes for their route, which is quite a long time. So they really need to think about energy conservation. You saw Aneta there just removing her face mask. Of course, COVID has been a huge issue for this competition, and it couldn't have gone ahead without enormous efforts by all parties concerned, particularly our sponsor, Outdoor Research. Interestingly, they switched to manufacturing face masks at the beginning of the pandemic. So you'll see a lot of the athletes wearing their Outdoor Research face mask. So Aneta is making slow and steady progress. She's been competing for a few years now in the Czech team. Took part in all the World Tour stops last year. Best place was 21st in China. Also competes in speed, and if you get a chance, do check that out as well. So it just matches there with the left. So we've got new panels this year. It's much wider than previous years, and that seems to have gone down well with athletes. Champagny-en-Vanoise is, of course, one of the highlights of the tour. It's been around for several years. Aneta just going for that Stein pull there. You get a good view from the side to see how it works. Place the tool, get the head flush against the wall, and it's very, very secure. Just steps up nice and steadily with the feet. Reason athletes love Champagny is because it's in the mountains. It does give you that absolutely wonderful alpine feel, and couldn't look more alpine in this weather. Very, very snowy. It's like a winter wonderland. So Lusheka didn't quite get that with the left. It's quite a long reach. Going to go for a second attempt. Just changes her grips on the right. Steps up. Is she going to get it on the second go? Yep, she's got it. Precision is so important in this sport. It's not a question of blindly throwing your tool up above and hoping it sticks. Although, of course, you do see that from time to time. You've really got to get it in the hold sweet spot. And now we're seeing her go into that figure of four. That's where the leg goes over the alternate arm. What it does is it weights that lower axe and makes it a little bit more secure. It doesn't always give you a bigger reach. So you'll often see this now, climbers using basically rock climbing techniques, using their hands. So she's at quick draw number 5 now. Now, if you look over to the right, to the sidebar, we'll see our scoring panel. This keeps track of her live score. So the 5 is the quick draw that she's reached. And 10 is a hold. And the 0 afterwards is where she is in the move. Just struggling a little bit here, Aneta, to reach that next hold. Just jumps up. Can she get the next quick draw? That was a costly in terms of energy expenditure. It's so important for climbers to clip those quick draws early on. Even though the optimum time to do it is when it's at waist level, that's when it's easiest to do. But to get up the scoreboard, it's all about clipping those quick draws. Just shakes out that right hand. A little bit of a cheer from below for the 20-year-old. She has podiumed before on the European Cup. She was 3rd in Zelenia last year. It looks like she's finding this a little bit tough. Spending much more time than she would like at this particular hold. Steps up again with the feet. Can she get it? Yep, she matches with the right. Can she get that 6th quick draw now? Just over 2 minutes remaining. She moves up into figure of 4. Tries to reach with the left.
Okay. Yes.
Seems as though Lusheka is really struggling here. Just not happy. Climbing back down almost to rest. Back up.
Ouais, tu m'entends?
Shakes. After a shake of the right, she's going to shake the left out. Keeping her left arm free by the looks of it. Matches with the left, both hands on the tool. Now reaches up with the left. Can she do it? Changes position now on the tool. Now with a backhand, trying to get that hold. Has she got it? Seems good. It's a little bit of a wobble. Matches with the right. With that sort of side pull. Tensions with the body. Core stability and strength here is so important. Not just about having upper body strength. It's about being able to tension your body. She's making progress. Inching her way up. But with only 30 seconds remaining on the clock, she will need to dig deep. She's to stand any hope of finishing high up in the rankings. Steps to the right. 10 seconds remaining. Quick inch up, little backhand there with the left tool onto that stone hold. Nope, she's not happy. And that looks like the time is out. And that's it for Aneta Lujeka, 20-year-old from Czech Republic. So from that first round, it seems as though this route is quite challenging. Let's see how some of the other female athletes get on with that. Aneta finished up with a score of 6.121. Now we're straight on to Nathan Claire from France, 24 years old. Very strong athlete, maybe even too strong. He has been known to be a little bit over-reliant on his upper body strength. Told me once after a climb in a Korean tour stop that he sometimes forgets his feet. So the men have 7.5 minutes to do their route. And Nathan is looking good so far. Just has a little look left and right, just to check the way ahead. Athletes do get the chance to look at the route and observe, but it's only for 6 minutes before they then have to go into isolation. That's quick draw number 3. And that's isolation in the non-COVID sense of the word. I think we're so used to hearing isolation in the COVID world. It is actually an important part of the finals. Athletes have to go into an isolation and not watch the other athletes compete. It just gets that quick draw number 4 on the third go. So we've got a real mix of holds here. Italian holds, Korean. There are some intellect holds as well. Those are those metal holds with just a tiny little divot in them. And you've got to absolutely be so precise with your placement. The hold is only good when you get your pick just in that tiny little divot. And sometimes it might be at a really awkward angle. So you've got to hold your tool to one side. And you've got some stone holds as well. Oh, just lost his left leg there. Dangerous. So Nathan tops one of his qualifying routes yesterday, but came off early on the second go. Just has a look up there just to check that's safe. As I mentioned, getting the pick in the right spot is so important. And he moves up to quick draw number 7. If you look at the leaderboard on the right, that automatically updates. Just searching there to the left, to the right. Is he happy with the right? The center? Just hooks that. And there we go. A little bit of sport climbing technique. Using the hand as well. Are tending to see more and more athletes use their hands. No longer just about being a traditional ice climber. You need all the range of techniques to succeed at competition ice climbing. That means being able to use your hand, your feet. Sometimes even bouldering comes into it. You'll see dynos in some routes. Now Nathan Claire is making quick work of this first part of the route. Already up to quick draw number 9. Just has a little shake out with the left hand there. Before placing it on the hold. Steps up, reaches up for that little small triangle of rock. Gets quick draw number 10. Matches with the left. absolutely stunning Champagny-en-Vanoise, part of the Paradis Ski Resort, La Plagne. And could it look any more wonderful? So Claire reaches up with the left onto the ice now. So Nathan Claire now moving over to this next part of the route. Into the figure four. Gets up onto that little rock hold. And this is where it gets a little bit awkward, as they need to traverse over. Good reach with the right there. Kicks in. Yes, this event could not have gone ahead without FFCAM, which is the Fédération Française des Clubs Alpines et de Montagne. So a big thank you to them for hosting this event. To make it COVID safe has been quite a challenge. The organisers have taken numerous measures to ensure the safety of athletes and volunteers to make it happen. Nathan Claire just trying to sort out his... Seems like he's got into a little bit of a situation there with his quick draw. Was the rope just caught on his harness? Difficult to see. Hanging off one arm. Did well to recover that. He does have very strong upper body strength. Now here they've got to down climb a little bit. It's just a little bit awkward. Goes for the undercut on that Stein hold. 1 minute left for Nathan Claire. He's moving swiftly now through the moves. Steps up, reaches with the right. Moving with the legs. Can now start to hear his French teammates cheering him on. "30 seconds left. Very challenging, that hold. Very, very secure, but just requires such good body tension to hold that in place and make sure that pick doesn't just skit out. He shakes the left hand. When they get tired, the athletes do feel the grip. They no longer have the strength of the grip, and he's off. Time ran out there for the Frenchman. He will finish up with a score of 16.251. So over to the women. And this is Ekaterina Vlasova from Russia. 34 years old. She's been competing for a long time. Let's see what she can do. So she needs to go into ahead of Aneta Lujeka. She needs to get more than 6, higher than the 6th quick draw. So she's moving up swiftly. Good footwork, very precise, very efficient. She took part in all the tour stops last year. Was 5th in China, 4th in South Korea, and 5th again in Saas Fei. So very capable of getting on the podium. Goes for that backhand with the left. Just wants to sort of test it before committing. Is it good? It's good. Oh, did move a little bit the pick. Bit of pick wobble. That can be very, very dangerous. She gets quick draw number 4. Moving very nicely and very steadily up this lower section of the route. So on the leader bar on the right, we can see that she's just a couple of points behind Aneta Lujeka. And she's just got to get above the 6th quick draw to overtake the Czech athlete. Reaches across with her right, which can be very awkward. It can often leave you quite off balance. But she is really just a joy to watch, Katerina. Style, effortless. She's moving very quickly. Only be going 3.5 minutes. She's already overtaken Aneta Lujeka. And on quick draw number 7. Just wraps the tool around the top of that hold. So you can see she's got lots of options to place her hands on the tool. 3 places, just to give more options. You can hear the shouts of "Dabai, Dabai" from her Russian teammates. They, of course, are unfortunately the only spectators at this event. Normally we could expect thousands of fans and supporters cheering on. She steadies herself there. It's a quick little look to see where the route goes. Down climbs to gather her thoughts and have a little bit of a rest, shake out those arms. We're seeing her use her hand here. Interesting. To get into position now. Three minutes on the clock. We're spending quite a lot of time to pull in the rope to make that quick draw, but it seems worth it on this occasion because it is the quick draw that gives you the score. Difficult to do though when you've got a tool in your mouth. You'll often see climbers, just regular gym climbers, using their teeth, putting the rope in their hands when they're pulling it through. Obviously for dry tooling you can't do that. Sometimes you might see an athlete put a tool over the back of the shoulder. It's a personal preference thing whether you put it in your mouth or over the shoulder. But it does take some getting used to, and you'll see on all axes that climbers always wrap loads of tape around the shaft to make that a little bit less unpleasant. So Vlasova is at quick draw number 9. As she goes and commits to the roof. Goes into the 4. Swings over. Right leg over right. Figure of 9. Then finds that Stein, which is the undercut move underneath that hold. Quick draw number 10 with a minute and a half remaining. She's looking very strong, very promising. Of course, the women's finals has a stellar lineup of top athletes. That remains to be seen whether this is a possible podium contender. Steps out onto the ice. Now this is interesting because the equipment that the climbers use for the artificial part of the wall are absolutely the wrong equipment to use on ice. These kinds of axes are not ideal at all for pure water ice. You can't really swing with them. The pick is at the wrong angle. Oh no, and shit's ripped. That's it for Ekaterina Vlasova. We saw her move so efficiently and impressively on this route, taking all its technical difficulties in her stride, but then just that ice ripped. Unlucky, really. We were talking about the equipment, but can't necessarily blame that. So next up is Nikolai Primarov from Switzerland. One of the older athletes competing today. He's going to be 38 years old next week. So one of the COVID precautions is that climbers have to use their own ropes when they ascend. So if you're wondering why they've got different coloured ropes, that is the reason. Nikolai Primarov. Making a very, very swift start. Strategically, athletes generally like to make a quick start early on. Just make the moves, get onto the route. Help put the nerves at bay, and then they'll find their rhythm. The last thing you want to do is get snagged early on. But the payoff with that is that sometimes you can run out of steam a little bit later on in the route. So in just a minute, he's already at quick draw number 4. So quite an awkward pull to the right there on that hold. Just touches it with the left hand just to give him a little bit of help. Ooh, almost didn't make that little rock hold off to the right. Matches with the left. Shuffles the hand on the grip of the tool. And he's got quick draw number 6 for Nikolai Primarov. So he could be a podium contender, Nikolai. He's won a silver before in Italy in Rabenstein. That was a few years ago though now, 2015. And we haven't seen him on the podium for a bit. But in this sport, anything can happen. Good reach there with the right. Matches with the left. Just has a little look just to check it's okay. He's got the pick in the optimum place. And then lays back. And goes for that Stein with the left. The stein is the one where you place the ice axe upside down and then wraps the right around this other rock hold. A little bit of a pick wobble. Wants to be careful there. That can always make the heartbeat flutter a little bit too fast. The pick just skidded off there. Did well to replace it. A little bit of shake going on in the right leg. But he's got quick draw number 9. Excuse me, quick draw number 10. As he moves out onto the ice. And this is where it all gets a little bit awkward. They have to step down and to the right. But Primarov still has 4 minutes left on the clock. Does well to get his right leg over there into that figure of 4 position. Attempt number 2. Attempt number 3. Can he get it? Can he stick it? Yes. Moves into the figure of 4. Changes. He's going to change arms. Now holds on with the left. Locks off. You can see there the top of that little rock hold. There's a little groove off to the right. He's got to get his pick into that and at the right angle. Feet just skated off the ice there. Down he climbs now onto this second section of artificial wall now. And he's starting to get within reach of overtaking Nathan Clare. If we look at the bar off to the right, he's just one quick draw away. And with just under 3 minutes remaining, I would be very worried if I were Nathan Clare. Nikolai Primarov looking very self-assured, very confident, no mistakes. Just uses his left thumb there to help pull in the rope, get that quick draw. Matches with the right. Very difficult to hold that position. Makes it look easy. Reaches up with the right. Now we're going to start seeing the arm shakes now almost between every move. Just flips the leg over. Grimacing now. Yeah, there's the left arm shake. The right arm shake, you can tell, starting to hurt. Originally from Russia, now a laser engineer in Switzerland. And he'll need some laser focus now to get up this last section of the route. Going for that next quick draw. Efficiently done. Just pulling in the rope, using his thumb to hold it in place instead of the teeth. And now reaches up for that rock hold. Big shouts of Dabai Dabai from below. Can he make the next quick draw? He does. Number 19. This is a storming performance from Nikolai Primarov. 30 seconds remaining on the clock. He now needs to just go all out to get as high as he can. Waste no time at all. Working fast with the feet. Fighting now just to get as high as he can. Struggling to find the placement with the left. Does well to hold on. And then reaches up with the right. This is a great performance from Primarov, but time is out. .32 is his score. So that final quick draw doesn't count. Great performance from the 37-year-old athlete. And then just there, he ran out of time. So back to the women. And this is Vivienne Labarille from Switzerland. 22 years old. She's been competing for 6 years and finished last year on the European circuit, third in the rankings. Best place was a third in Brno. Oh, lovely little step up. She means business. And the clock has begun. 8.5 minutes for Vivienne Labarille. She also competed on the World Tour last year. South Korea and Saas-Fee, but on both occasions she didn't make the finals. So she's getting into the position, that very awkward figure of four. Not enough to reach the next hold. We also saw Aneta Lujeka struggle a little bit at this point. Very awkward move. And Labarille comes down again to re-examine and work out the way through. And she's off. That's all over for Vivienne Labarille. She'll be very disappointed with that performance. You can be very, very unlucky in this sport. So that's it for Labarille. Barely got on the route. Very unforgiving sport. You have your foot in the wrong place, the pick just slightly off. It's over. So this man is Tristan Ladevant. He's about to turn 23 next week. So a local climber from Grenoble. Now he will have that local advantage. He will have had a chance to climb and practice on these routes. Or rather on these walls. He won't have climbed on the exact route, of course, but he will be familiar with these new panels that have been put in this year. Now, they like to move fast, these Ladevant brothers. Tristan is the older brother of Luna Ladevant. And they are both familiar faces on the European and World Tours. Tristan was third last year in his only European stop of Bern. Both brothers concentrated on the World Tour. So you're seeing that mix of climbing techniques that this route demands. Dry tooling, using both tools, but also using the hands from time to time as well. So he's got quick draw number 3, steadily moving up. The matches there with the left, a little bit of a hand change. Straight into quick draw number 4. Was 14th in SASFE. But he's looking good and strong today. In France, like everywhere else around the world, it has been difficult for athletes to train properly. There is a permission for professional athletes to train, so they can get out there. But when I spoke to Tristan's younger brother, Luna, before the event, he said it had been difficult to train, even with the rules that allow it. But they managed to do a lot in the last 6 weeks. Tristan moving very quickly up this middle section of the route. It's almost like, as he remembered to quick draw number 8. It requires supreme confidence to do that. In competition, you generally see, as a rule, athletes prefer to get that quick draw as soon as they can. So to climb straight through it requires quite a lot of confidence, even if it is easier to do so when it's lower down. Just has a feel with that with the right, not sure. He's gone back to his tools. Reaches up with the left, walks the feet a little bit higher. Inch by inch, foot by foot, meter by meter if you prefer. So effortlessly swings into that figure of 4 position. Just helps to keep that axe from which they're hanging just a little bit more weighted, a little bit more secure. Very acrobatic though. So you can see he's just 3 quick draws behind his French teammate Nathan Claire, with 3.5 minutes remaining. Inching his way up. Quite awkward, these set of moves. Climbing down is actually can be sometimes more difficult than climbing up. As you have to sort of release the weight. So now onto this steeply overhanging artificial section. Begins with the Stein and gets that 15th quick draw. So we can see on the leader bar on the right that he is fast approaching Nathan Claire. He can get beyond the 16th hold. That will put him into 2nd place on the rankings, with over 2 minutes remaining. That seems like it could be a shoe-in for this Frenchman. Amazing climbing here from Tristan Ladevant as he gains the upper section of this route. He's now moved into 2nd place. Can he overtake Nikolai Primarov? He is showing every sign that he is capable of it. Didn't quite manage to stay in the figure four there. Tries again. Reaches with the left arm. He's got over a minute. Just adjusts his position on the tool. Trying to find the optimum place to give the reach necessary to make that long right hand reach for that rock hold up above. Gets number 18. Primarov's position at the top of the leaderboard is looking precarious now, as Tristan Lanavant, with 40 seconds remaining on the clock, shows every sign that he is capable of going all the way. Big cries now from his teammates below. Ale, ale. He's now neck and neck with Primarov. 20 seconds remaining. Can he get it? Just gently steps up. Just seconds now remaining. This is almost exactly the same place as Primarov. It could be close between these two. Looks, steps with the left, moves his feet, but we are now out of time. That's it. 19.330 for Tristan Lanavant, which puts him just ahead of Nikolai Primarov. Sterling performance from the 22-year-old French athlete. But we shall have to see what his brother is capable of. So now it's over to the women. We have another French athlete, Marion Thomas, 25 years old. Now, she had an incredible season last year on the World Tour. Third in China, fourth in Saas-Fee. She also took the silver medal in Bern and Brno on the European circuit, which gave her an overall ranking of fourth. The year before that, 2019, she finished second overall. So, very strong, no pressure. Now, if you're enjoying watching the ice climbing action here in Champagny-en-Vanoise, be sure to check out some of the action that's been going on in North America. Over the weekend, of course, it was also the 2021 UIAA Ice Festival and competition in Colorado. So Team USA was out there in force, and great to see so many familiar faces. So if you get a chance, watch that. Just search for UIAA Ice Park and it'll come up in either YouTube or Facebook. Back to Marion Thomas, who is making swift work of this lower section of the route. So the female athletes have 8.5 minutes to complete their climb, which is quite a long time. They need to manage their energy. The anaerobic endurance required is massive. So they need to be careful not to get pumped too early on. So straight away, Marianne Thomas, in just a matter of a minute, is at quick draw number 5. So far, the female athletes we've seen have struggled on this route a little bit. Lujeka took her time and only got to the 6th quick draw. Vivian Labaril came off very early. So there's no pressure on Marianne Thomas at this stage. However, she will know that there are some formidable athletes to come after her, including Maria Tolokonina, Sina Gertz. 2 very, very strong athletes. Their ascents are to come. So far, so good for Maria. Oh no! She's off! She reached out with her left on a little side pull. Didn't quite have it. So unforgiving. She thought it was good. She stepped. It was her left pick that just skidded out. Unfortunate end there for Marianne Thomas. Just got to the 6th quick draw. Just ahead of Aneta Lujeka. But it won't be enough to stand on the podium, almost certainly. So next up, Virgile Devin. Another of the young French athletes coming through the ranks. You see everyone, they've got their outdoor research face masks on. Athletes are regularly tested for COVID throughout the weekend to keep this event safe. In fact, the only positive test that the organisers have had was, ironically, the team event doctor. He had to be replaced at the last minute, but we hope he has a speedy recovery. That was the only positive test. So Virgile Devin just psyching himself up. This is the moment where trying to remember the moves, trying to remember the route, those 6 minutes that you had to look at it, work out the moves. Sometimes you'll see athletes come out with binoculars, sometimes they're taking notes, writing it down. Others will just look. You're trying to figure out and have in your mind, before you start, exactly the way to go. It's almost like a jigsaw puzzle, figuring it out. And then it comes down to athletic performance. Virgile Devin. And the clock begins. 7.5 minutes. So he's also part of this crew of climbers based out of Grenoble. Only been competing a couple of years. But shows tremendous promise. Managed to qualify for the finals in Saas-Fee, but came in 16th. The semis, that is. So, Virgile Devin, this is his bid to get on the podium here at the UIAA Ice Climbing European Championships. It's not the first time that Vanoise has hosted a tour stop. It's been hosting events since 2012 on the European and the World Tour. Didn't feature last year. Last time the event was in Vanoise was back in 2019. And all the golds were snapped up by Russians, and all the speed medals were taken by Russians. Let's see if the French can change that. Virgile Devin, no doubt hoping he can end this Russian reign of dominance. The Ladevant brothers certainly have that thought also, and have proved that they can take on the Russians and win. So, Devin, up at the 7th quick draw, and swiftly makes number 8. With 5 minutes remaining on the clock. So matches the picks there on that same hold. Goes for layback there off that tool. Now there, the pick just got a little bit of a pick wobble. It's by no means secure at all. It's so important to have that body weight just exactly in the optimum position, waiting, pulling the pick down. If you're a little bit off to the side, it'll just go flying and pop out. That's what we saw happen to Vivienne Labarille earlier. And also Marianne Thomas. But Virgile Devin keeping it together. Just a little bit unsure with his feet there. Good kick with the left boot. And he's onto the ice now. So the trick here is to hook with your tools. This kind of style of tool is not ideal at all for swinging. So you really want to find pre-existing holes in the ice. Reaches across to make that next quick draw. And then it's now swinging through the roof onto the next panel of ice. And this is where the hours spent doing these sequences inside a gym really pay off. If you check out these athletes' Instagram feeds, this is what they do. This is their bread and butter training. Working through the Fig Fours in a climbing gym on a steeply overhanging wall. So the route setter, Antonin Cecchini from France. Big shout out to everyone who makes this event possible. From our partners, Outdoor Research, to the local organisers, FFCAM. Could not happen without them. Fédération Française of the Mountain and Alpine Clubs. So we can start to hear his teammates now cheering him on. Allez, allez, allez. Awkward climbing down. You've got to release the weight of the tool, which means pulling up on it, releasing it, and then finding the next hold. In this case, it's that Stein, which is the undercut hold with the head flush against the wall. Very secure, if a little strenuous. 1 minute 30 remaining for Virgile Devin. And he's about to overtake his teammate Nathan Claire. We can see on the sidebar off to the right. So places that left arm, a little bit of a floater, that floating undercut. Very, very skilled to be able to do that. It doesn't really do it justice, but he went through that move, holding the pick in place. And he's got quick draw number 17. Currently in third place in his sights. Nikolai Primarov. And then if you can overtake him, Tristan Ladevant. His high point is the one to beat. Big reach there with the left. Oh, he does well to stay on there. It gives you a good idea of just how steeply overhanging this route is. When you see the legs come away, they're flying vertically down. The time is up. That will be the end for 20-year-old Frenchman. 18.290. Third place for now. Whether he can stay in third place, who's to know? We've still got some formidable athletes to follow, including the reigning champion Luna Ladevant. So it may be that Virgil Devant has to enjoy his third place rankings while it lasts. In the meantime, we shall be going over to the women to see Enni Berkling now from Finland. One of the older competing athletes in the finals. It'll be interesting to see how Enni gets on. She told me earlier that she'd been suffering some issues with her elbows and actually hadn't been able to train with tools for 6 weeks. Her 8.5 minutes starts now. Berkling is a very strong all-round climber, has been competing for many, many years. He's got 2 kids as well, proving that that is no bar at all to being a top performing athlete. So if you haven't seen the leader bar off to the right before, this gives a live score of the athlete. So we can see Enni is currently the score of 1. And to give the explainer for how scoring is done, it's actually very, very simple. There are 3 criteria. There's the quick draw. That is the most important criteria. The quick draw you reach gives you your main score. So Enni's at quick draw number 1, about to clip quick draw number 2, so her score moves up to 2. The next number is the number of the hold that you get. So she's at the 6th hold. We'll see Aneta Lujeka above, got to the 12th hold. And then there's a third point, a 0, 1 or a 2, and that tells us how far they got in the move. So if they've managed to stick the move, that's a 2. If they're sort of going for the move, it's a 1, and if they don't make the move, it's a 0. So very logical scoring system. Lovely view there of this structure. One of the more popular venues on the ice climbing tour. Fantastic to be in the mountains La Plagne is an amazing place to ski, part of the Paradis Ski resort. Famous for that iconic logo of the red bobble hat. So Eni just being very careful here. It's almost as if she doesn't quite trust that pick placement. Just reaches with the left hand. Feels perhaps a little bit more secure using the hand. Shakes, matches, swaps the hands out. Kicks with the feet. Gets that next quick draw. Just checks and has a look. Sometimes you'll see athletes doing that, just pulling themselves up, just to make sure that pick is in exactly the optimum place on the hold. Some of these holds, like the intellect holds, have a small little divot that you've absolutely got to be right bang center of. Others are just a little bit awkward. They might have divots in them, but they might be off to the side. It's not just a nice jug that's right in the middle and on the top. So Bertling making slow and steady progress up this lead wall in the women's finals. Little bit costly error there. She did well to stay on. And he also took part in the speed finals this weekend. So if you haven't already seen that, do check that out. That's also on our YouTube channel. She finished up in 6th place. So she's taking her time. Finding it quite technical. Quite powerful moves required on this lower section of the wall. Just matches in there with the left. The 5.5 minutes already down. Oh, and she's off. She'll be frustrated with that. Just popped. It's giving us an idea just how difficult this lower section of the wall is. Yes, her left tool just popped there. There's nothing she could do. So Bertling again falls at that 6th hold, joining Marianne Thomas and Aneta Lujeka, all of whom failed at that 6th quick draw point. But this is a Nikolai Kuzovlev from Russia. He is a man who needs no introduction. But let's give him one anyway. He's one of the absolute legends of both lead and speed disciplines. So he took the silver last year. He actually did very badly in China. He flunked out, but recovered to come second both in Korea and Saas-Fee. Finished up second overall. He was the 2019 champion, winning 4 out of the 6 stops. Very, very strong athlete from Siberia. And in fact, he has that advantage that they've been having competitions in his local town of Tyumen in Siberia. And he took the silver at the Russian combined last month. Moving very, very quickly through this early section. Kozlovlev really is a joy to watch. It's like seeing a master craftsman go about his work. So precise with his movements. Reaches up with the right, steps up with the feet, lays back, holds the tension, makes the quick draw. Moves the feet, always on the move. Crosses over with the left, and then takes the tool with the right, freeing up the left hand to make the quick draw, the next move. Just so efficient, very, very quick. Looks a little bit like an intellect hold there, just looks to check that the pick is in the right place and then reaches up high with the right. Very, very strong athlete indeed. He's already at the 7th quick draw. Motoring his way up this route. So it's not a speed event, but the timer does count. You do have to watch the clock. You can't hang around. And in the event that you're just seeing him pull on that stein there and reach up with the right. Quick draw number 9 for Nikolai Kozlovlev. Just over 2 minutes of climbing. Will we see a top today? Kozlovlev is certainly one of the athletes capable of topping. Let's see if he can pull it off today. Just searching for a way onto that ice. Big, big reach up. Now it's just about reaching onto the overhang. Oh, and he makes it look easy. Finds the spot straight away. Into the figure of 9. Moves over to the figure of 4. And effortlessly swings across. Just uses the backhand there to side pull on that stone hold. And he is now back onto the ice. And here is where athletes now have to down climb a little bit and step over onto this next part of the structure. So just starts to lower himself down onto his arms. Not necessarily a familiar way to climb for athletes. Just a little bit awkward. But Kozlovlev, once again, makes it look all in a day's work. So the next athlete ahead of him is 4th place Nathan Clare. And barring a disaster, he will almost certainly overtake Nathan Clare. The real question is this a medal-winning run? Does he have what it takes to get past Nikolai Primarov, Tristan Ladavon? Next on the horizon is Virgil Devin. But Kozlovlev, of course, won't be thinking about any of that right now. It's just the next hold, making the moves, staying focused, keeping the breathing under control. Always difficult when you've got a tool in the mouth. That does actually take training. It's why some athletes really hate holding a tool in the mouth. Big reach up there with the right. So we now see Kozlovlev moving onto this upper section of the route. Matches with the left, has a little bit of a look, check it's okay. Changes the hand grips, allowing him to shake out the lactic acid from his arms. This is where it's starting to feel a little bit the pump. Athletes might feel their grip, just losing a little bit of strength in their grip. They just can't hold it for quite as long. So that means they've got to be even more quick and efficient with the moves, making no mistakes. Quick shake with the right, reaches up, places the tool, and then he'll be looking to relieve that right hand. Holds with the right, reaches up with the left. So, looking very dangerous now, Nikolai Kozlovlev, with over a minute remaining on this final section of the route. Can we see a top today from this Russian? He's got the 20th quick draw, which puts him into first place. Already he has raised the bar. One last shake with the right. Still got time. He's got plenty of time, barring a disaster. He can make the top. Cry of Dabai from below. Quick shake in the right. Just got to move his feet up. Goes into the figure four. To finish the route, he's got to get both tools in that top hold. He gets the quick draw. Matches the tool. He's done it. He's topped in the time with 24 seconds remaining. So Nikolai Kozlovlev has set the bar very high indeed. He goes top of the leaderboard. And the gold medal is his. Unless there's anyone else coming along who plans to top as well. Great effort there from Nikolai Kozlovlev. So, Irina Dubotseva now begins her attempt on the finals. Just 19 years old. And more of a speed climber than a lead climber. She won the under 21 speed in Kirov last year and the under 19 the year before that. But she did manage to come fifth in the youth games last year in lead. She's got the potential. Definitely a talent to watch. Most of the women so far have really struggled with this lower section of the route. Oh, and she pops! It's all over! I think we're seeing that this section of the route is just really quite challenging for the female athletes. Very strenuous, requiring powerful moves. And what happened there to Irina? Just a right tool just popped. Yeah, just didn't quite have the power, didn't quite have it in the right place. So So all over for Irina Dubotseva. Only 19 years old though, so plenty of years to come. All vital experience in her progression as an athlete. So we've got another 19-year-old now in the men, Ivan Lushenko. So he came 10th in the speed finals here in Champagny. So if you haven't seen that already, go and check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. Just incredible how fast the speed climbers are these days. So he's just putting on his jacket. Just stay warm. Getting a little bit nervous. It's about -5 degrees in Champagny. So you don't want to get cold in that. So, Ivan Lushenko beginning his lead finals attempt. Ooh, a little bit of a pick wobble. That could have been game over very early on before it had even started. You don't want to have that happen. Pick wobble, it is the enemy. Just nice secure placements is what athletes are hoping for. Reaches up with the right. So Lushenko, he came second behind Ilya Kuruchkin at the Youth Championships last year. And Kuruchkin will be climbing after him. A little bit of a rivalry there with these two 19-year-olds coming up through the youth ranks in Russia. There are lots of Russian athletes competing today, which is great to see. But sadly, no North American athletes, of course, due to the COVID situation. But if you're wondering how they're getting on in North America, you are in luck because, of course, this weekend has also hosted the UIAA ice competition. And there's been loads of action happening over there. So do check that out. I watched the live feed on Saturday and it was great to see so many familiar faces. Just search for the UIAA Ice Park and the live feed from that should come up in either YouTube or Facebook. Meanwhile, back to the action here. Ivan Lushenko. Gets quick draw number 7. Matches with the right. Just eases up, walking with his feet to then reach up with the right onto that big stone on the volume. Matches with the left. Almost like a layback maneuver there. Very awkward. Just has a little feel with the hand. Let's see if he can use. He can use his tool. He is. He's taking his time. Not as fast as his Russian teammate. Oh, he did well to stay on that. Just managed to land his pick on that stone hold on the volume. Perhaps a little bit lucky. That could have been all over for Lushenko. He puts it behind him, moves on. So just using his left hand, a little bit of combination of dry tooling and rock climbing technique. Seeing more and more of that now in competition ice climbing. Reflects the fact that many of these climbers do come from a sport climbing background and certainly do a lot of sport climbing in between competitions. So Lushenko now moves onto the ice. Gets that next quick draw. Slowly inches his way up. Approximately halfway on the route. A little bit over halfway. The bar on the right, it does give an approximate indication of the route's height. Just struggling to get into that position. Figure of four, but he gets the next quick draw, reaches over, very long reach, and he's on the ice. That will be a relief for the Russian. Now it's that step down he's got to do before getting onto this upper third section of the route. Gets the Stein with the right and makes that 15th quick draw with the left hand. Looking very, very strong now. Lushenko within reach of Nathan Clare's high point, which was the 16th quick draw. And still with 1:30 remaining. Currently 6th in the leaderboard. Where's he going to end up? Next in his sights is the high point reached by Virgile Devin. Teammates now starting to cry out the familiar Russian war cry, Dabai, Dabai. And he is moving very swiftly now, Lushenko. Nearly lost his footing there. Good recovery. But the tiredness is starting to make itself known. Gets that hold with the left. Gets the feet high. And can he make the next quick draw? He can. He is now level pegging with Devin. He's now got to get from this steeply overhanging section up onto the last panels that could take him to the top, but with only 10 seconds remaining, he will need to move very quickly. The clock is counting down. That is it for Ivan Lushenko. Time out. 19.30. So he didn't quite get onto the podium place. Managed to overtake Virgile Devin, but not quite Nikolai Primarov. That was the hold that he only just managed to stick. Great performance from such a young Russian athlete. So it's now the Swiss athlete, Sina Gertz, beginning her ascent. Sina is another athlete who is simply a joy to watch. You can learn a lot looking at her style. Normally she just floats to the top. But you know it's hard if she makes it look hard. So she had an extraordinary year last year, won every tour stop on the European circuit and finished third overall on the World Tour, fourth in China, third in South Korea and second in Saas Fei. It's just got the Stein there, matches with the left. Very, very solid hold when you do that Stein, that upside down move. And her performance last year was all the more extraordinary because she broke a rib in training before the season even began. So for the first couple of stops, she was in absolute agony. So you can add high pain threshold to the skills of Sina Gertz. Just on this volume now. The fact that she's not flying up this route does give an idea of its technical difficulties. It does seem to be a little on the hard side. She's just taking her time, making sure that pick is in the right place. There are no second goes. If it pops, that's it. All over. Like then. Only want to commit when you're fully satisfied it can support your weight. Walks up with her feet, just holding on to that side pull. So many variations of holds that are available to an athlete. Most axes will have 3 places where they can hold your hand, 2 or 3. It's a matter of personal choice. Reaches up high with the left. Gently pulls through the move before she can step out onto the ice. Just over 4.5 minutes left on the clock. Sina knows, of course, that coming after her is Maria Tolokonyinya. And she is an athlete who does not take prisoners. So if Gertz is to take the gold, she has to deliver. She has to top. Delicate reach out left. Not quite happy with it. There's a little shake of the left arm before she commits. No, she's not sure about this at all. This is almost unlike Sina Gertz. Very, very cautious. But cat-like she swings over. Just very careful in that figure of 4 position. Gets into the Stein with the left, and it's good. Can she now get the next quick draw? Always a little bit of a delicate maneuver when the draw is on a long leash. Sometimes you can get a swing on, and that's a nightmare for athletes. And she's on the ice. Roof part is almost done. Now she's just got to step over onto the ice, hooks her tool in. So she's swinging a little bit with the right tool. These tools, these tools are optimized for dry tooling, for artificial walls. They are not ideal at all for climbing on pure ice, which does add an exciting element to this route. So she's just carefully placing those tools. A traditional ice climber would be swinging away, and you can't really do that with this type of pick setup. So Sina moves into first place with that 13th quick draw. And still 1 minute 30 remaining. But she knows that she's got some competition coming up behind her in the form of Maria Tolokonina, who is a very strong and fast athlete. Fantastic features on the structure here. Very fortunate with the conditions to have this mix climbing, dry tooling and ice. This part of the route was actually hand packed on. So amazing effort there from the organisers of this event, the FFCAM, the Federation of French Mountaineering and Alpine Clubs, have laid on this event. Absolutely fantastic that it has managed to go ahead in these difficult COVID times. You might be forgiven for thinking that athletes might be a little bit rusty, but Gertz is not showing any signs of that at all. She's got the last remaining seconds. What is she going to do with it? Gets that Stein. Can she get any further up? And we can hear the time is out for Sina Gertz for her finals here in Champagny-en-Vanoise. Great view of the resort there. So she was lucky there to recover from when her tool just ripped. But by far the best performance that we have seen from the females today. She goes into first place, having made the 16th quick draw. Poses the tantalizing question, will we see someone top out today in the women? But we shall have to wait and see for that, because it is back to the men. And now we have Russian Ilya Krochkin, another 19-year-old. A little bit of rivalry going on between him and his teammate Ivan Lushenko. Let's see who gets the better of the two today. So he is moving fast up this lower section. Very, very psyched. Of course, these athletes coming up later on have been sitting in isolation. The only thing they've got to go on are the cheers or the cries that they can hear outside, or perhaps the speed of how soon the athletes are going on. Of course, that's made a little bit more difficult with not many spectators cheering. And so by the time they come out, they're like a coiled spring, just so psyched. Oh no, and he's off! It's all over for Ilya Kurushkin. Just one little mistake there, and it's all over. Just so unforgiving. It's reaching up with the left, but it's the right. What happened? Holds on with that tool on the left, and it just popped. It just popped. He didn't quite have the right position. It wasn't quite in the right sweet spot of the hold. Of that, we don't know, but disappointing for Kurushkin. That means the last athlete in the men to go will be Luda Ladovon. But before we get to him, we get to Maria Tolokonina, who is 33 years old. And a veteran of almost 15 years. An extraordinary athlete who has dominated the sport for the best part of a decade. Since 2008, she has won more than 30 medals. And in 2 of those years, she didn't even compete because she was having a family. So I once asked her if she ever got bored of winning, and she replied, "Training, yes. Winning, never." And she has an inner fire inside her belly. Still, after all these wins, still hungry for more. This is, in fact, her 19th season competing. So, the out-and-out favourite for the women's finals today. But you can be unlucky in this sport. Things can go wrong. And she knows that better than anyone. Takes that hold with an undercut. This Stein hold makes quick draw number 3. Six times she has won the global world champion, 6 times in both lead and speed. By far the most successful female athlete this sport has produced. Still 33 years old and still competing at the highest level. Just slowly making her way up the wall there. Has proved the nemesis for many of the female athletes, this first part of the wall. Sometimes that can happen. So it's not the fastest performance from Maria, but she's making steady progress. So she needs to improve on the high point of Katerina Vlasova, got to the 12th quick draw. But Tolokonyina is slowly but steadily inching her way up into a dangerous position. Already guaranteed a place on the podium. The bronze is hers. So next it's the roof. She's done the first half of the route now. Just has to swing over and get onto the ice. If you've just tuned in, your timing is impeccable because you're watching one of the greatest athletes of this sport, and we shall see the technique to perfection from Tolokonyina here as she crosses this roof, swinging from fig 4, kicks in, big kicks there, make sure her feet stay, and then puts that right leg over the left arm and into that position known as the figure of 4, reaching up with her right, and then gets the right leg over the right arm, the figure of 9. And what it does is it helps weight the axe, helps keep it in position, and so preventing it from skating off. She's just trying to get onto the ice, get her feet into a good position, and she's done it. Just needs to... Still not quite there. Feels like she's not quite happy. There she is on the ice. And fast approaching Vlasova's high point. Gets the next quick draw. Moving nice and quickly now. Tolokonyina gets to quick draw number 13. Moves into second place. The second is guaranteed. You can hear the cries from below from her teammates as she now moves on to this final section of the route. Still a way to go before she can overtake Sina Gertz. Is she going to be able to do it? The clock is ticking. She's maintaining composure, just not the quick draw around there. Kicked it out the way. But that hasn't fazed her. Clipped it after making the move. So she's got to get beyond the 16th quick draw. She's got to get this quick draw and move up and over it. She's got it. Quick draw number 16. Holds herself in position with that figure 9, and then the Stein in the left to make the move. The next move's up. Shaking the arms out. Now she will be feeling the pump. She knows the strength is waning. But if there is any athlete capable of topping this route, it's Maria Tolokonyina. She moves into first place. She has won the gold, but how much further can she go? Just so impressive. Big cries from the crowd below as she uses the final seconds just to try and get as high as she can on the route. Can she surmount this final section? Just has a little quick look to the cameraman. Smile for the cameras. Big cries now from all the other athletes cheering from below. And that is her out. Great performance there from Maria Tolokonina from Russia. Another medal to add to her formidable medal collection. Her medal cabinet must be bulging, overflowing. We're now into the 30s. She must have a special room for them. So here we see her going on this very interesting hand-packed ice. And this was the point where she's now in. She's already won. And what a performance there from Maria Tolokonina. Another gold medal to add to her formidable collection. And she looks pretty happy about that. And yeah, she's so pumped she can't undo a knot. Quite a familiar thing for climbers. You know you've had a hard climb if you simply don't have any strength to undo your figure of 8 at the end of a climb. But one of the belays there coming to her rescue. So that brings to a close the women's event. Still got one male climber to go. Where is he? There he is. Luna Ladovon. He is psyched. He is the current world champion. 20 years old. And already he has made his mark in the world, breaking the dominance of the Russians. When he took the gold in Saas-Fee last year, he broke the drought of France that had lasted for 18 years. So on French soil, it will mean so much to him if he can win today. One last look at the route. And he is off. His 7.5 minutes begin. Now he's moving very fast to begin with. The pressure, the nerves. It is a characteristic of Luna Ladovon to move quickly to begin with, to try and get as high as possible on the route, as quickly as possible, to allow that extra time for the technical difficulties later on. He has to top if he is to take the gold today. During the qualifiers, he topped on both his routes. So that does leave him ahead of Nikolai Kuzovlev. In the event of a draw, Kuzovlev did not top either of his routes in the semi-finals. So if it comes down to a draw, Ladovon will have the edge, but he needs to top. So he's working through these early sequences fairly swiftly. Not hanging around at all. Just uses his hand there on that volume. Lots of shouts of allez, allez. And already he is at the 10th quick draw. With just 2 minutes gone. Already he is on the ice. What a performance we're seeing here from Ladavant. He is absolutely psyched. Moving so quickly now into the figure 4. Wastes no time to get that little rock hold. Gets the picks. Lands it first time. Reaches over. Got the next quick draw. And already he's looking ahead. Get that ice. That tool on the ice. Swings over and he's back on this other leg of the structure. So pulls through the rope. Gets the next quick draw. Wants the points early. No hanging around. No resting. Round this arête. He goes. Just looks around the corner. Makes sure the hold is good. Now the ice isn't perfect. You can have very bad luck and it rips, but it's been okay for Ladavant. It's held. So he clearly means business. He does not want to have Kozlovlev get the better of him. To win on French soil would mean so much for Team France. Already at quick draw number 17, with still 3.5 minutes left. Really just shaking his right leg there, just trying to extract it. Sometimes when you kick so hard into the plywood, it can be quite difficult to remove. So this is where we might start to see some signs of fatigue setting in. Looking for those signs. Not seeing them. Luna Ladavant. What an extraordinary athlete he is. Just 20 years old. It's his birthday last month. Whoa, that's a risky move. Not intentional for sure. He did well to hang on to that. Very lucky indeed. This man is living dangerously. It could all have been over at that point. But he is not hanging around to analyse what went wrong or what went right. So he's now within touching distance of getting on the podium. Knocking Nikolai Primarov off his position in third. And he's done it. Primarov now goes from fourth to third. And Ladavant now moves up into second place. He's got the time. He's got plenty of time. Kozlovlev topped with just under 30 seconds left. So if Ladavant can top, and he's going to do it. He's got it with the left. He's got to get the quick draw. He's going to do it, and he's going to be almost a minute quicker than Kozlovlev. Luna Ladavant takes the gold with still 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining, almost 1 minute faster than Nikolai Kozlovlev of Russia. That was a virtuoso performance from the Frenchman. Extraordinary performance. All the more so for his very, very lucky escape here. He swung over and managed to cling on. So he looks pretty worked after that. Absolutely exhausted, gets congratulated by one of the other team members. Extraordinary performance there from the young Frenchman, just 20 last month, and we can expect some great things from him. And that means that both he and his brother stand on the podium. So let's look at the final results of the women. Maria Tolokonina takes the gold. Sina Gertz takes the silver, and Ekaterina Vlasova takes the bronze. And that brings us to a close of the ladies' event. And also to see how the men got on, it was Luna Ladevant who took the gold, Nikolai Kuzovlev who goes home with the silver, and Luna's brother Tristan takes the bronze. And that's not the first time the Ladevant brothers have stood on the podium, but for sure it will be all the sweeter for being in France. So hope you've enjoyed watching all the action today. The next live broadcast is provisionally planned for the 5th of March for Kirov. We hope you can stay tuned and watch that. But as always, stay tuned to our channels for the latest updates. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and see you again soon.